ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
अर्जुन उवाच स्थाने हृषीकेश तव प्रकीर्त्या जगत्प्रहृष्यत्यनुरज्यते च रक्षांसि भीतानि दिशो द्रवन्ति सर्वे
सर्वे
नमस्यन्ति च
नमस्यन्ति
सिद्धसङ्घाः
सिद्धसङ्घाः।
कस्माच्च तेन न मेरन्महात्मन् गरीयसे ब्रह्मणोऽप्यादिकर्त्रे अनन्तदेवेश जगन्निवास त्वमक्षरं सदसत्तत्परं यत् त्वमादिदेवः पुरुषः पुराणः त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानम् वेत्तासि वेद्यं च परं च धाम त्वया ततं विश्वमनन्तरूप वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणश्च शाङ्कः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपितामहश्च नमो नमस्तेऽस्तु सहस्रकृत्वः पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते नमः पुरस्ताद्धत पृष्ठतस्ते नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वत एव सर्व अनन्तवीर्यामितविक्रमस्त्वम् सर्वं समाप्नोषि ततोऽसि सर्वः सखेति मत्वा प्रसभं यदुक्तम् हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति अजानता महिमानं तवेदम् मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि यच्चावः सार्थमसत्कृतोऽसि विहारशय्यासनभोजनेषु एको तवाप्यच्युत तत्समक्षम् तक्षामये त्वामहमप्रमेयम् पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वमस्य पूज्यश्च गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समोऽस्त्यभ्यधिकः कुतोऽन्यः लोकत्रयेऽप्यप्रतिमप्रभाव तस्मात् प्रणम्य प्रणिधाय कायम् प्रसादये त्वामहमीशमीड्यम् पितेव पुत्रस्य सखेव सख्युः प्रियः प्रियायार्हसि देव सोढुम् अदृष्टपूर्वं हृषितोऽस्मि दृष्ट्वा भयेन च प्रव्यथितं मनोभिः तदेव मे दर्शय देवरूपम् प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास
Clarification. You said you can never ever take responsibility for the mental being of anybody or do anything for the mental well-being of anybody. At the most, you can give material well-being to those around you. Mental well-being of everybody is their individual responsibility. You can offer some physical, material, and emotional help. You can offer your help, but the well-being of another can never be done by you. Therefore, prayers, helping others, and all is your unselfish thought, unselfish action. Whoever is the right recipient, they will get benefited by it. That's how the power of Sankalpa works. Okay. I was under the impression that mental well-being means physical, material, emotional well-being. We clearly separated them by saying you can offer physical, material, emotional help to the other. You can offer your help, but the well-being of another can never be done by you. Mental well-being of everybody is an individual responsibility. Okay, question. What does mental well-being mean? Also, why do you say that whoever is the right recipient, they'll get benefited by the unselfish thought and action? Does it mean prayer at all times is not a guarantee that every time it will reach all the 8 billion, all the times in some name and form? Oh, okay. We'll go one by one. First, the mental well-being of others is not your responsibility, is what is said. You can be responsible for your mental well-being. You can never ever take responsibility for the well-being of somebody, mental well-being of somebody. You can help. You can offer some help. So what does mental well-being mean? Answering the first clarification. Mental well-being means a unaffected state, a state where you remain unaffected in spite of whatever happens around you. That's called mental well-being. You understand what is happening around you. You know what ought to be done. You know what ought not to be done. So what is happening around you will not disturb your clarity of what ought to be done. It means you have it means you are all right. This is called mental well-being. So mental well-being means there is a stability, a unaffected state of mind. What is meant by unaffected state? Events happen around you, situations keeps happening around you. In spite of the events and situation that goes on around you, you can remain unaffected by it. That is your responsibility. Nobody can make you do that. Now, what I said is, your mental well-being is your responsibility. You can never take responsibility for somebody else's mental well-being. Meaning what? You can never take the responsibility of trying to keep somebody happy. You can never take up the responsibility of making somebody happy and peaceful. That is an impossible thing. That's what I said. You cannot make anyone happy. You cannot make anybody peaceful. This is what is meant by your mental responsibility. This is what is meant by it's somebody's mental well-being is not your responsibility. You follow? You can help, you can offer help. You can offer physical help, material help, dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna. You can offer all types of help. You can even help. Offering means doing. Offering doesn't mean do you want. Offering means in Vedanta, offering means doing. The English word offering has a different meaning. Whenever in Vedanta we use the word offering, it means doing. So I don't offer physical help. I go and do physical help. The English word offering is different. The English word offering doesn't imply doing. In Vedanta, offering means doing. Offering to God means what? Doing. So you can help somebody materially. You can help somebody physically. You can give your love to somebody. You can, when they are in trouble, you can give some advice. All this you can do. Because you are doing all this, the other person will not see. Just because you are doing all this doesn't mean the mental well-being of other is taken care of. How the other person receives it and works on it is what dependent. That's what I was distinguishing between the two. Everybody's mental well-being is their responsibility. You cannot take responsibility for the well-being of somebody. You can offer help. There are various ways of offering help. One way of offering help, one way of doing help is by prayer. You offer the help by the law of karma. Carefully follow. By the law of karma, you pray for the welfare of the entire creation. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, sarvasan mangalani santu. That's the prayer. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, sarvasan mangalani santu is the prayer that we always do. There is the law of karma that decides when it should reach the respective person. Just because I am praying doesn't mean immediately it will fructify. That's where people come and say prayers don't work. Because I think I pray, immediately it should fructify. No. I pray. When it should be beneficial to, when it should reach that person, who decides that? Who decides that? That is why we offer prayer to God and then we leave it at that. Whenever it whenever they deserve it, it will reach them. Are you able to follow the difference? So prayer is not that prayer doesn't work. You cannot put condition and say, because I have prayed, it should happen. Prayer is a conviction that it will happen. When? When it will fructify? Who decides that? Karmanyevadhikaraste mapaleshu kadachana. The doer doesn't determine the result. The doer doesn't decide the result. Karmani eva adhikaraha. We have seen that very clearly in chapter 2. We keep repeating this quite often. You can only perform action. The result of the action is not decided by you. Meaning what? You can pray. When it should reach and how it should reach and all is not decided by you. But what happens is, because I am doing the prayer, I immediately want to see the result. In fact, any action that I do, I want to see the result immediately. Isn't it? I remember we spoke about it some time back. You water one tree, the fruit comes from some other tree. How do you understand that? How can you even understand that? You water a tree, logically fruit should come from that tree. You water one tree, result comes from some other tree. Meaning there is a greater law happening. There is a greater law that is deciding when should everybody get what they should get. That's why we say deserve, never desire. Deserve means there is a law that decides when it should come to you. You follow? So prayer is an action done for the welfare of Loka Sangraha, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, isn't it? That's the prayer. All our prayers should be dedicated for Loka Sangraha. So whenever the praise is dedicated for Loka Sangraha, you are depositing into the accounts of everybody. Understand it like that. Everybody has an account. If there are 8 billion people, there are 8 billion accounts. Now you can deposit into each and everybody's account. What you can deposit? You can deposit thoughts of welfare. You can deposit thoughts of welfare. When it should fructify and they will be able to withdraw that? We don't know. We can never know. That is the Shraddha in prayer. That is Shraddha in prayer. If I start looking for results in prayer, prayer doesn't work at all. Looks like prayer doesn't work at all. You follow? Therefore, it is very important to understand the prayer means thoughts being deposited in the accounts of everybody. When it should mature, in what way it should mature, and the benefit should reach that person is decided by from the devotional angle, we will say God. From the intellectual angle, we will say law. Both are one and the same. Are you able to follow? From the devotional angle, we call it as God. From the intellectual angle, we will call it as law. We have seen that God and law are one and the same. It is it's usage of words differ. That's all. Follow? Therefore, what do we do? You pray, deposit, you pray. Prayer means depositing into the accounts of everybody and then leave it at that. You follow? When it should convert into their benefit is not decided by, cannot be decided by you. In that sense, mental well-being of another is not your responsibility. Also, the futile attempt that everybody makes, what I was trying to explain is the futile, foolish notion that everybody has is, I have to keep somebody happy. I have to make somebody happy. See, we have two problems we have. One problem is, I believe I have to make somebody happy. Also, I believe somebody has to make me happy. Both ways there are mistakes, isn't it? I believe that somebody has to make me happy. Also, I expect what? Somebody should make me happy. So, the responsibility is always given to another. You follow? This is what I said. Next clarification. Yeah, 1 and 2 is answered. What does mental well-being means? Also, yeah. You said there are two natural laws. One is the other's destiny, the person's current situation. Everybody gets what they deserve in life. Another is my free will. What can I do to help them out? Correct. I can also do something for the welfare of the other. Correct. There are two natural laws. One is the other person's situation, which is their own making. Everybody gets what they deserve in life. Another is what can I do to help them out? There are two situations. Correct. In the free will, I can either pray for the welfare of the other or use likes and dislikes and selfishness to harm, curse. Correct. Then you said, for their destiny, you can't do anything about it. Your prayer is not going to change their destiny. Because if prayer can change their destiny, you are tampering with the karma of another. That is not possible. Therefore, what they are going through is their destiny. That is one aspect of the law. Question number 2. If so, correct. Then, what is the purpose of prayer? What is the meaning of wishing the welfare of the other? If wishing the welfare of the other doesn't include relieving the other of the current situation by giving them strength, then what welfare are we praying? My likes and dislikes not coming in the way of others' consequences. What others should get and not get is understandable. But prayer is not likes and dislikes. It is an unselfish action. Now, the question is, I said, there are two things that's happening in a human being. At any given point of time, everybody goes by what they now படிச்சிட்டேன். It's okay, enough. At any given point in time, everybody goes by what everybody experiences what they deserve, which is their own making. There are two laws. One is their current situation. Second is what I can do to help them. When I am trying to help them, when you are doing something to help them, what are you actually doing? What are you actually doing? A conducive environment which will make them do the right thing and come out of it. So prayer is creating a conducive environment for the welfare of the other. You follow? When you are doing the prayer, you are not going to change the destiny of the another. By praying, I cannot take away somebody's thing. That I cannot do. That is not possible for me to do. But when I say but means opposite of it is when lot of unselfish thought is done on that person's behalf. What is the consequence of this unselfish thought? There has to be a consequence of the unselfish thought, isn't it? What will be the consequence of that unselfish thought? The other person's problem will not get solved. A conducive environment will be created. That's how prayer works. A very conducive environment will be created. In that conducive environment, that person can make right use of it. The person can make right use of that environment and help oneself. In the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, from the three worlds, Arjuna, what am I going to get? Isn't it? I have nothing to do. I have nothing to gain. I have nothing. Yet I am acting for what? For Loka Sangraha. So the thought, the action of him speaking to Arjuna became a Loka Sangraha. Now, how did it work now? Still we are reaping the benefit, isn't it? Because still Gita is available to us, still we are studying, everything is happening. Are you able to follow? Therefore, this is how Loka Sangraha, this is how an action for Loka Sangraha works. One kind of Loka Sangraha is prayer. The biggest problem in misunderstanding of Vedanta is not understanding the concept of prayer. We believe that prayer is not something that's going to be effective at all. We believe that, okay, everybody, you make yourself, you mar yourself. Then what is the need for somebody to even go and help somebody? You follow? If everybody is making themselves, or if you make yourself, you mar yourself, then why sit and talk? Then why sit and give discourse after discourse after discourse? Why Why Shankaracharya has to book, why Shankaracharya has to write 150 books? Why so many things are happening? You follow? It means you can do something to help the other. But don't bring in a direct cause and effect. That's what we are saying. I helped, I prayed, therefore the other person got benefited. That direct cause and effect relationship you should not make. That was the only caution in that. Are you able to follow now? I prayed, therefore that person got benefited. That direct cause and effect relationship you should not make. In order to understand how it works, if you remember, when we did about action quite a few times, we saw what are the various factors that determine the result of an action, isn't it? We saw what all goes into determining the result of an action. In that, we said the unknown. There is always an unknowable element. Prayer comes into that category of unknowable element. For example, this classroom, this talking is a conducive environment for growth, or because of coming to the class, growth is guaranteed. Imagine this classroom as a prayer. Anybody comes and sits here, is growth guaranteed? Is change guaranteed? Yes or no? No. Growth is not guaranteed just because they come and sit here. Then what is the point of this talking? Then what is the point of this action? The point of this talking, the point of this action is it can be conducive, inspiring, motivating. Are you able to follow? If just by sitting here, if a person can grow, all of us would have become Shankaracharyas by now, isn't it? In fact, better than Shankaracharyas. Even Shankaracharya won't know what all we know, isn't it? Shankaracharya doesn't know how to operate Zoom, no, isn't it? And we know how to operate Zoom also, we know. He doesn't know how to operate so many things. We know how to operate so many things. Therefore, prayer, help is nothing but you creating a conducive environment for the other. Are you able to follow? Why do you do that? Why would you want to pray? The same reason as to why would you want to help somebody? Why would prayer is, of the various ways of helping somebody, prayer is one. Correct? Why would you want to help somebody? Why would we even want to help somebody? We want to help because when somebody is in pain, that pain is your pain. That's called identification, love. Where there is love and identification, you will want to help somebody. There are very many ways of helping. Of the very many ways of helping, prayer is one. Are you able to follow? So, will prayer work or not? For which you should ask a counter question. What is the counter question? Does helping another work or not? Then it will be clear. You follow? Will prayer work or not? And ask counter question. Does helping another work or not? You will never know what to say, yes or no. It is yes and no. From one angle, it is yes. From another angle, it is no. Vedanta comes and says, Krishna comes and says, there is no yes and no story and all here. It is a clear-cut yes. It's a clear-cut yes. For Kramanasha doesn't exist. Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayo navidyate Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. See, all these verses, I keep repeating it because these are all the formula verses that you should never ever forget. Kramanasha na asti, na iha neha bhikramanashosti. Kramanasha na asti. Because what does it mean? There is no such thing called wasted effort. There is no such thing called wasted effort. In the totality, we just don't understand when and how it's going to work. That much we can reckon. That much we understand and we accept. Does prayer, does helping another work? Yes. You are not helping the other to help yourself. Please understand that. You are all right. That is why whose prayer works, the one who already taken care of their mental well-being, when they pray, it works. Otherwise, you pray because you can't stand the pain of the another because you are affected. No. You are not affected. You are not affected. That's where the distinction of in the Vedanta treatise, the distinction of weak pity and charity. Prayer doesn't come out of weak pity. You see somebody suffering, you can't stand their suffering, you start crying and you are more affected than them. Because you are more affected than them, you start helping them, not knowing what to do, what not to do, etc. That's not prayer. You follow? So for you to, even if you want to help somebody, what is the requirement? You must be that unselfish. You must be that unselfish by nature. So when a unselfish person says swasti, it happens. When an unselfish person says tadastu, it happens. That's why when we go and pray, they say tadastu, no? Isn't it? They keep saying tadastu, tadastu, tadastu. It works. Who says it? You can't hire a person and say tadastu to me, isn't it? You can't pay, you can't pay a person and say, now say this to me. You can't say that. That won't work. You follow what I'm saying? Therefore, what is prayer? An intention to help another. The intention to help another can come in various ways. Manasam karma, vachikam karma, kayakam karma. Prayer is a manasam karma and vachikam karma. You follow? Therefore, is it your responsibility to help another? Do you have a responsibility to help another? Yes or no? Yes, you have a responsibility to help another. It's a responsibility of a human being to be unselfish, isn't it? Is being unselfish a responsibility of a human being? Yes or no? Yes, you have to be unselfish. It's your responsibility. And that unselfish person, words fructifies. And what is that unselfish person, words, thoughts? Welfare of the others. Welfare of the others. So he keeps throwing seeds. He keeps planting seeds. When it will fructify, we don't know. You understand the difference now? That's how prayer works. So prayer is an intention to help another. One way of helping another is dravya yajna. Another way of helping another is tapo yajna, yoga yajna. Physical help, material help, emotional help, intellectual help. All these are drishta type of help. And then there is adrishta type of help. That adrishta type of help is prayer. Dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna is direct help that you can do. Somebody is suffering, you give 100 rupees. Direct help. Somebody is in pain, physically, you go and help them out. Isn't it? Somebody is emotionally down, you offer love, affection, words of solace. Somebody is in a crisis, not knowing how to handle it. You help them out with some. All this is drishta type of help. Are you okay till now? Human beings cannot do only drishta type. For drishta type, that person has to be in front of you. Now, what about the rest? What about the rest? What do you, is your responsibility restricted only to those in front? What about the rest of the creation? How do you execute your responsibility towards the rest of the creation? How do you execute that responsibility towards the rest of the creation? By prayer. By prayer. That is why in prayer, we always say sankalpa, isn't it? Mama Kudumbanam Kshema Stairya Virya Vijaya Ayurarogya Aishwarya Abhivriddhyartham. One kind of sankalpa people do. Sankalpa means you won't know what is sankalpa. Huh? You won't know what is sankalpa, isn't it? That's why Americans and all should not come for these classes. Everything has to be explained in English now. Sankalpa means statement of intention. I am doing this for what? So when they do the prayer, they have a big wish, lot of wish list they have. And in that wish list, the starting is Mama Kudumbanam. Mama Kudumbanam means I am doing this for the welfare of my family. That is one kind of sankalpa. There is another kind of sankalpa, isn't it? There's another kind of sankalpa. What is another kind of sankalpa? Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham. Let me get that Jnana Vairagya. Not other Vairagyas. Not that Prashava Vairagya, not all other Vairagyas. Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham. Another kind of sankalpa we can do. Then another type of sankalpa. What is another type of sankalpa? Loka Kshema. So when you do the prayer, your sankalpa determines it. Your sankalpa determines it. That's why it is very important to know what sankalpa you are doing. Mama Kudumbanam Kshema Stairya Virya Vijaya, big list they give. Meaning, what all is best must come to my family. That's what it means. One kind of sankalpa. It's not a selfish prayer, but it's very limited prayer. It's limited. Don't call it selfish. It's limited by nature. From here, you move on to Lokakshema. From here, you move on to Lokakshema. After a period of time, even this Lokakshema and all, when you have reached a very high level of spiritual growth, this entire Loka is Maya. Now, what Kshema for Maya that I am praying for? This is very nice, sir. This is very nice to hear. It doesn't help at all. Why? Because the Loka is very real now. The Loka is very real now. Because it is very real now, take action from that angle. What does taking action from that angle means? Pray with the right attitude. Prayer means welfare of the other. You follow? because the selfishness is criticized, people have misunderstood prayers are criticized. In Vedanta, when the prayer is the selfishness in the human being is criticized. Because the selfishness in the human being is criticized, what people get comfortable with now, they started thinking the prayers are criticized. Always remember this. Is the ritual criticized or the doer criticized? Is the ritual wrong or the doer wrong? Think about it. Is the doer wrong or the ritual wrong? The doer is wrong. The ritual is not wrong. Why do we say the ritual is not wrong? The ritual is not wrong because it is an unselfish act. If it will not go wrong. If it is selfishness, it's wrong. Are you able to follow? That's why they say prayer is a license to beggary. You need not ask for anything. Yes. You should not ask anything for yourself. Selfish. Misunderstanding of prayer is, I don't have to do anything. If I pray, I will get it. We don't talk about prayer from that angle at all. Prayer means wishing the welfare of Loka. Are you okay? Is there anything else? All done, na? Verse number 39. Vachagovindama Bhagavad Gita ba?
We are on verse 39.
Huh?
We are on verse 39.
Verse 39. Okay. You are Vayu. You are Yama. You are Agni. You are the moon. Prajapati. Prapitamaha. Prajapati. Salutations. Salutations. 1,000 times. Again salutations. See, physically, you can only prostrate 10 times. 11th time, you get up and prostrate, you will collapse, isn't it? 100 times you prostrate, you have to be carried in a stretcher only, isn't it? Then what is meant by saying 1,000 times? It means he's so inspired, he's so motivated that he's not able to stop showing his bhakti. That's what it means. Salutations again and again and again means he is not able to stop expressing his bhakti. And when bhakti is there, you are Vayu, you are Yama, you are Agni, Varuna, etc. In the modern day terminology, they will not say you are Vayu, Yama, Agni, Varuna, and all. In the modern day, what we will say? You are Lakshmi, you are Saraswati, you are Vishnu, you are this. All this we will say. The modern day prayer will be like this. You understand the difference? But all it means is what? Salutations, salutations, salutations. Vishwarupa is seeing everything as divine. What is Vishwarupa? Vishwarupa is nothing but looking at everyone as, looking at the entire creation as divine. The maturity you have developed to see the entire creation as divine. When you see everything as divine, what happens? a respect, a reverence comes. That's why I said last week, no, when they look at the river, they will not, when you see a flowing river, what would you want to do immediately? You would immediately want to jump, isn't it? When you see the ocean, you immediately want to rush. You immediately want to rush and do everything. In the Vedic culture, we will not do it like that. What will they do? You do namaskara to the Bhumi Devi before placing your feet on the earth. Before entering the water, you pray to the. That's why if you have seen, they will go do prostrate, take some water and do prokshanam, and then only they will enter. You just don't jump into it, because you see everything as divine. Now, when you see everything as divine, salutations, 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 salutations again and again and again. You follow? Bharat, clarification in relation to the same topic of prayer or something different?
Guruji, namaskaram.
Yes, Bharat.
This is an ad hoc question. Sorry, I didn't send you before. Can I ask?
Yes. Cholunga, Bharat. Yes, Cholunga.
This is related to the prayers and all the aspects of prayers.
Yeah.
So the texts, the holy text, everything prescribed that we should have unselfish thoughts.
Yes.
We should pray for the well-being of all,
yes.
etc.
Yes.
And also, when we do our actions, we are doing without desire. It's unselfish, and we don't expect it. That is the way we are supposed to behave.
Yes.
And so we keep trying to get into these areas of thoughts and actions.
Yes.
The question I have, Guruji, is one: if that is the way that it has been prescribed,
yes,
and we have been asked to follow.
Yes.
Now, why is destruction the final activity of any aspect? For example, when I say destruction, I'm talking about pralayam or whichever word you can use.
Yes.
So we say that despite all the goodness, attitude, etc., that is prevailing, ultimately, God, or as we call God,
yes,
law,
yes,
in our opinion,
yes,
finally destructs, and a new aspect is created. It comes back in a new form.
yes.
Why is that destruction is taken as the final way or action? Why is it that all the goodness that is prevailing can prevent destruction and change the mind rather than create a destructive end?
Yes.
Guruji. So this is my question and request your help.
Yeah. Bharat, first thing, I'll repeat your question first.
Thank you.
To see, I'll repeat your question. The creation being so good, why there has to be an element of why it has to deteriorate and get destroyed? Correct?
Yeah. Not only I'm asking all the training that we are supposed to go through.
Yes.
And okay, I understand the mind is different, but I'm saying the prescription is that we should all do that. Even if 10% of the population is doing good,
yes,
would it not be good enough to sustain rather than destroy? That was my
Okay, good.
Since you were explaining to us about prayers and the benefits. So my question was that ultimately we see in any story, anything which is related, we see
Yes.
that there is only the destruction that is the final, and then
Yes.
there is a resurrection of
Resurrection.
everything.
Yeah. Now, part of the law that governs the entire creation. There is a law that governs the creation. The law that governs the creation is manifest and unmanifest. Again, I repeat, the law that governs the creation is of two, manifest and unmanifest. Prabhava is manifest, pralaya is unmanifest. Microcosmic level, macrocosmic level, Bharat. So
Okay.
Prabhava is manifest, pralaya is unmanifest. Now, that manifest and unmanifest cycle is the very way in which creation happens. Again, I repeat, the very way in which creation happens is by this continuous cycle of manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest. In Sanskrit, in Vedas, we never use the word destruction. We use the word unmanifest. The moment you start using the word unmanifest, Prabhava, Pralaya is one level. Vyaktam and Avyaktam is more technical word. Vyaktam and Avyaktam. Prabhava and Pralaya, Vyaktam and Avyaktam. So manifest and unmanifest is the very nature of creation. For something to, for manifestation to happen, a series of steps is required. For that manifest to go into unmanifest, a series of stages is required. So the cyclical repetition of manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest is what we call as creation. When something goes into an unmanifest form, that unmanifest form is very loosely called as destruction. We don't use the word destruction. We say it is avyaktam. Avyaktam doesn't mean it is the end. It's a sad end. Destruction gives the meaning everything is going to have a sad end. No, there is no good beginning and a sad end. Vyaktam, avyaktam, vyaktam, avyaktam. This is creation. Bharat, are you able to follow? Therefore, this vyaktam and avyaktam is what we understand it as. In English language, we call it as creation and destruction. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, we say the Trimurtis. Creation, maintenance, destruction. Creation, maintenance, destruction. No. It's a very limited usage of English words. The proper, the appropriate word should be Vyaktam and Avyaktam. Prabhava and Pralaya. So, if you start using these two words, Vyaktam and Avyaktam, Prabhava and Pralaya, your thinking will be very different. The way you understand it becomes very different. See it from that angle, Bharat. Seriya?
Thank you, Vijay.
Yeah.
Vyaktam,
So,
avyaktam.
and the English terminology used panna, there will be a problem.
Okay.
Use these two words, Vyaktam, Avyaktam, manifest and unmanifest.
So,
there cannot be a sudden manifestation, there cannot be a sudden unmanifestation. For manifestation to happen, there are stages. For unmanifest to happen also, there are stages. So, this continuous cycle of manifest and unmanifest is creation. What is death? Gautam Buddha said it, we have said it any number of times. No, what is death? Death means you go to sleep in one body and wake up in another body. You sleep in one body and you wake up in another body. Normally, we go to sleep in one body and wake up in the same body. We are alive. Another thing is you go to sleep in one body and wake up in another body. That is Vyaktam and Avyaktam. So you go to sleep in one body and wake up in another body. There is a gap in between. You follow? That is that Vyaktam, Avyaktam, Prabhava, Pralaya. See it from that angle. Amit.
Hari Om. In the explanation of the previous question, you said what all goes into determining results of an action.
Yes.
Was covered in one of the previous classes, which
yes.
Unfortunately I was not privy to.
Yes.
Could you please summarize what that is? What all goes into determining the results of an action?
Okay. What all goes into determining the result of the action? There are a few factors that goes into determining the result of the action. What are those factors? First thing we say is inconceivable. Doing is conceivable. The karma phala is inconceivable. Inconceivable means the doer doesn't determine the result. Karmanyevadi, the very famous verse of Bhagavad Gita. Karmanyevadikaraste ma paleshu kadachana ma karma pala hetur bhuhu ma te sangostva karmani. So karmani eva adhikaraha na phala. Means what? Fruit is decided by various factors. What are all the various factors? I will list it out. Amit. Every few months, I keep repeating it. Every few months, I'll keep... in fact, we keep repeating the same thing again and again, Amit. Nothing new will be told, isn't it? And most of these people here, they know even before I say Om, they are going to know what I'm going to say for the entire session today. Yeah, because we just keep repeating. So what is it? What is it that determines the karma phala? First thing is the factors that goes into combination. First one, how skillfully you are doing the action. First thing that determines is the skill of the various factors, not the only factor. The first factor is skill. Second factor is the attitude with which you do the action. So one is skill. Second is the attitude with which you do the action. The third factor is the current mental state while you are doing the action. The current mental state while you are doing the action. Another, the role of the gunas. The role of the gunas with which you are performing the action. Another factor, time. Time, as in it should be done at the right, it should be done at the right time. Right time and right place. Again, I repeat, right time and right place. Time as in sowing at the right time. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha gurunandana, he said. Again, karma yoga, previously. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi means, Vyavasayi means farmer's attitude. Have the farmer's attitude while doing action, Arjuna. That's all. What is karma yoga? Farmer's attitude. What is farmer's attitude? What is farmer's attitude? You have to plow the field when the sun is beating you down. No guarantee whether the rains are going to come or not. Will you start plowing the field after the rains or before the rains? When will you start plowing the field? Oh, no, sir, I don't know. I'm only a mark. Huh? Well, who are you? Huh? Designer. Huh? Who are you? I don't know. Whatever Amit is. Something he did, something he said which he did, I didn't understand.
Advertising.
Advertising. Advertising.
Yes.
Okay. Fraud. Okay. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah. So advertisement means not actually fraud, but very similar, something very close to that, isn't it? Make a person believe that you need it, even if the person doesn't need it at all. That's the advertisement, isn't it? You have to convince that person that without it, even though the person may not need it at all. Correct? Advertisement. It's a science and technology and very efficient. Okay. Arjuna, Amit. Krishna didn't understand it. For Krishna, Karma Yoga means Vyavasayatmika Buddhihi. Farmer's attitude. What is a farmer's attitude? You have to plow the field when the sun is beating you down without any guarantee of rains going to come or not. You don't know whether the rains are going to come. Number two, whether it is going to come in the right proportion at the right time. Sometimes it may rain less, sometimes it may rain more, sometimes it may not rain at all. You'd never know any of these things. And yet you have to plow the field. Are you able to follow? It means the time, as in sowing at the right time. The next thing that determines the result is place. The right time and the place. Desha Kala, we say. So, Desha Kala is another important factor in determining the result. That's why we say what has to be done should be done at that time. Doing it at a different period of time is of no. Doing it at a different period of time is of no use. Are you able to follow? Then comes another important factor. What is and then comes another important factor. What is another important factor? What should one get now? You should get now. What you should get later, you should get later. It's a very, very complex law. That's why in chapter 4 he says, Gahana karmano gatihi. Nobody has understood this, Arjuna, he says. Nobody has understood how impenetrable it is. And we have an ego, Amit. We na I na we na I. If he says impenetrable, your ego will say, let us see how difficult it is and penetrate. Isn't it? So he says, Gahana, it's impenetrable. What is it? What should one get now? You should get it now. What should one get later? You should get it later. Then only it is karma pala. Are you able to follow? It can't be the otherwise. We may think I need it now. I may think I may not need it now. No. There is a law that is deciding that. Another action. This is where prayer comes. When one performs karma for the sake of another, the other should get it at the right time. When I perform an action for the sake of another, one should get it at the right time. What is performing karma for the sake of another? You take power of attorney even now, no? Isn't it? In prayer also, you can take power of attorney. You know that, no? For ordinary drishta things, we can take power of attorney. Why can't you take POA for other things? So, when one performs karma for the sake of another, the other should get it at the right time. Above all these factors that I listed, there is a very powerful factor called anugraha. Anugraha means the invisible divine hand. There's a divinity that shapes our ends. If you say it is your own karma that is going to decide everything, there's no divinity shaping your ends then. No, there is an anugraha. Now, all these put together, Amit, determines the karma pala. So, at any given point of time, what you are experiencing as your destiny, at any given point of time, what you are experiencing as your fate, what you are experiencing as your destiny is a combination of all these factors put together. You follow? This is the list. Sometime as we go along, we'll be explaining it. When it comes to 12th chapter, we'll be studying a lot of all these things. When you go into 12th chapter, we'll do that. You follow, Amit? But right now, to answer your question, this is the list. To answer your question, this is the list that determines the invisible, incomprehensible, inconceivable karma pala. Naranji, tell Gautam that all out of syllabus we teach. Tell him that. Man, we'll teach everything out of syllabus only, we'll be teaching. He's thinking now in which course we studied all this, he's thinking now. Gautam, all out of syllabus here. Nothing will come from the syllabus. Is it okay, Amit? Yeah. Next verse, Padingo.
Arvindanji.
Yes.
That is why I'm sitting here. Because it is out of syllabus.
It's recorded. Gautam, recorded. Next verse, Padingo.
Ranjini has a clarification.
Oh, yes.
So can I include the Manasam, Vachikam and Kayakam karma also as part of the one that determines the results along with the list that we have supplied now?
No. Manasam karma, Vachikam karma, Kayakam karma is the three ways in which you perform action.
They do not determine the results?
The way in which you perform Manasam karma, Vachikam karma is skillful, attitude, etc.
Oh.
The way in which you perform the action skillfully, attitude, Shraddha, the Deshakala, Karmapala, Anugraha. All this is what you do in your Manasam, Vachikam, Kayakam karma. You follow?
Yeah.
Therefore, he says, Gahana karmano gatihi. Inconceivable is this karma, karmapala. Therefore, never worry about the results. Never bother about the results. Why never bother about the results? Because it is inconceivable. It is inconceivable. Then what you can worry about? You can worry about these things, you can worry. You can worry about the daksha, the skillful part you can worry. Daksha you can do. The Shraddha you can bring. You can worry about daksha, you can worry about Shraddha, you can worry about the present mental state while I am doing it. I can worry about the Deshakala, I can worry about everything I can worry. Anugraha, I need not worry. When it will come and how it will come, I need not worry. The ultimate freedom for the doer is not to bother about the result. What is the freedom of the doer? See, you don't have freedom from doing. You follow? Do you have freedom from doing? No. Do we all have freedom from doing anything? No, we don't have freedom from doing at all. Why do we have to perform action, sir? You are alive, no, that's all. What is the reason to perform action? As long as you are alive, you have to keep doing. As long as you are alive, you have to keep doing. action, isn't it? Third chapter, he has said it very, very clearly. Sharira yatra pichate. Even the maintenance of your body would not be possible by inaction. Therefore, action, we don't have clarity from, we don't have freedom from doing, but we can have freedom from the worry and anxiety about the result. We can be free from that. You can be free from. How to be free? This is how you can be free. You follow? படிங்க, வருஷையாவது படிச்சிருங்க இன்னைக்கு, நான் விடுறதா இல்லை.
नमः पुरस्तादथ पृष्ठतस्ते नमोऽस्तु ते सत्त्वतये सत्त्व अनन्तवीर्यामितविक्रमत्वम् सर्वं समाप्नोषि ततोऽसि सर्वः नमः पुरस्तादथ पृष्ठतस्ते नमोऽस्तु ते सत्त्वतये सत्त्व अनन्तवीर्यामितविक्रमस्त्वं सर्वं समाप्नोषि ततोऽसि सर्वः.
Salutation to you before and behind. Indeed, salutation to you on all sides. O all, infinite in power, infinite in strength, you complete all. Wherefore, you are all. Salutation to you before and behind. Indeed, salutation to you on all sides. O all, infinite in power, infinite in strength, you complete all. Therefore, you are all. The prostrations are continuing, that's all. Prostrations are continuing, and adjectives after adjectives are being used. Prostrations are continuing and adjectives are used. In that inspiration of devotion, emotion, love, never look into the meaning of the words that they use in devotion. Understand the devotion. When somebody is affectionate, never look into the meaning of the words, because most of the time it will be meaningless only. Just as when you play with your child, when you play with your grandchild, what will you say? Meaningless words, isn't it? Juju, Buju, isn't it? Some names we will keep using. Yeah, I don't know. I keep using a lot. I keep using a lot. And I use the same adjectives. And if there are 4 kids in my house, I say it, all 4 will come to me and ask, what do you want? Isn't it? All 4, my nephews, my daughter and Ishwaran's daughter, all 4 of them will be sitting just to, I'll be looking vacantly into the wall, and I'll say the name, all 4 will respond at the same time. Juju, it has no. When devotion is there, when bhakti comes, words become adjectives after adjectives after adjectives. So what is he saying here? You are prostrations to you from behind, prostrations to you from front, salutations to you on all sides. You are everything. You are everything. In love, when you are in love, the beloved becomes everything, isn't it? You start seeing the beloved in everything. Correct? When you are in love, that's what happens. No. You see something good, immediately your thought will go to the beloved, isn't it? Oh, this person likes it so much. Oh, this person doesn't like. When you are in love, everything of all your experiences will be seen through that beloved. Therefore, what is he saying here? Nama purastat, nama prishtaha, te namostu, te sarvata eva sarva. Ananta viryam. Infinite in power, infinite in strength, infinite in everything. You are complete. You are everything. You are everything. You are infinite. Your power is infinite. Your strength is infinite. You are complete in all aspects. If you remove the devotional quotient from here and look at it, it looks like blabbering. He doesn't know what he is talking. If you remove the devotional quotient and look at it, it looks like it's very clear that he doesn't know what he is. He doesn't know what he is talking. But we see it from a different angle. What is the angle from which we see? When devotion comes into play, the right way to understand devotion is don't look into the meanings. Isn't it? Isn't it? Eight-year-old father will call the 60-year-old son as baby, no? Child, no? Does it make a, is it a child or is it what, 1 month or 2 months? Child, no? Isn't it? 8-year-old will call the 60-year-old son as child. Now, if you intellectualize it, you lost the devotion there. If you intellectualize it, you have lost the emotion. You have lost the devotion. Therefore, how do we see it here? You see it as the devotion. What is the devotion? Salutation to you before, salutation to you behind. Indeed, salutation to you all. Infinite in power, strength, you complete all. Therefore, you are all. The prayer, the salutations are continuing. The salutations are continuing. Why? Because the Vishwarupa that he is seeing, when you see everything as divine, what will be your mental state? You see an inspiring personality in front, first thing will happen is what? Prostrate, no? You will prostrate, isn't it? You will prostrate. More inspiring, more prostrations. Always inspiring, always prostrating. Now, how can you prostrate so much physically? It's not possible. Physically, you can't prostrate so much. Therefore, what do? What you can't do physically, you start doing it, vachikam karma. What he wants to prostrate so much physically, and physical body has its own limitations. Therefore, what he could not do physically, he is doing it through words. Salutations to you, salutations to you, salutations to you, again and again and again. 1,000 times I have saluted. 1,000 into 1,000 again, isn't it? 1,000 times I have saluted. 1,000 more times. 1,000 into, where will you end? It means what? In that state of devotion. Vishwarupa continues. We'll continue next week.